Trigger warning. Ghosts, ghouls, and gruesome stuff ahead. It's weird. It's dark. It's your kind of vibe. Welcome to Haunted and Homicidal, the podcast where true crime meets the paranormal. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Courtney. Every week we uncover the terrifying, the twisted, and the totally unexplainable. Lock your doors and grab your sage.
Because things are about to get haunted and homicidal. That's good. I can cut it out. She said,
Hold on. I'm going to skip down my teeth.
Beverage. Why are you licking my elbow? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Haunted and Homicidal. I guess we can go ahead and get started.
So this week, I'm going to talk about Hattie Whitten, which, trying to look up stuff about this woman, there is nothing. Google 2 pages.
Man, it's kind of like the Black Eyed Kids. There wasn't a whole lot of information.
Yeah, she had nothing. Zip, nada, nothing.
That's okay if yours is short, because mine's kind of long today. So I don't want to bore people with my long one.
So Hattie Livermore Whitten was born July 24th, 1862. She was a Leo.
Mm-hmm.
And she was an American serial killer who poisoned her husband and 2 daughters in the early 20th century.
Okay. Looks like we got a lot of those.
I know.
Like the women serial killer seems to be poisoners because the giggling granny also poisoned.
Well, I guess it's easier for them because they're cooking, so they can just put everything in the food.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably a small female, it would be a little more difficult to like overpower a man and kill them.
Yes,
in another way.
I mean, I'm 5'4", so that would probably be, I'd be using probably poison because my 5'4" ass I can't take down a 6-foot dude.
I couldn't either. But I have a gun.
Okay, I don't have one of those.
Buy one. Yeah, I think every female should have a gun. Hold on a second. Mischa wants a chip with cheese.
You better give her a chip of cheese.
I know. She's over here looking at me like I'm crazy. Here.
How can you deny that cute face, her chips and cheese?
Hold on. Let's do like a ASMR thing. Hold on one second. Okay, come here. Come here. Want another one? Come on. Good job. Okay. And that is my dog eating a chip and queso for your daily ASMR whatever.
We love some Mischa.
Huh?
I said we love some Mischa.
That's my baby. No more. Go lay down. No.
Don't
She's
look
like,
at
what?
me.
She said, Courtney, what about you?
Don't look at me, Mischa. All right, so back to the story. So little is known about her early life prior to her moving to Dexter, Maine. It was reported that she came from a respectable family in Dover, and she was one of 2 daughters born to David and Esther Livermore.
That name takes me out every time.
What, Livermore?
Yeah.
Livermore.
Because all I think of is Edgar Allan Poe.
With
Nevermore.
Yeah.
Or Wednesday, because that's the school she's attending right now is...
That's what I watched Wednesday.
Really?
I started it, and I think I got into, like, the 2nd episode, and I just haven't finished it. I'm really bad with, like, starting shows and then not finishing them.
The main one I haven't finished. So, like, there are some that I haven't finished, but they're still putting out new episodes. Mm-hmm. Like Grey's Anatomy. I got to, like, season 19.
I can't get into that like everyone can. I'm like, I think because it got so hyped up.
It did. It really did.
And then my friends all watched it.
Like after everyone dies that you get so used to, there's like 3 people. If you guys
haven't seen it, spoiler, sorry.
Well, my bad. People die.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
But I think after that part, you know, kind of like with Game of Thrones.
After freaking Jason's character died, I said, nope, I'm done.
Oh, that was early.
I know.
No, after the Red Wedding is kind of when I stopped watching it because they killed everybody.
Well, I tried to get past it, but I love me some Jason Momoa.
Now-
Man, after they killed him off, I said, I'm done. I can't do it.
So I almost did that with Walking Dead.
I still haven't watched that either.
I don't know if I should say watch it, because after a while it gets, I don't know, I didn't like it after a while. After Glenn was killed by Negan,
Spoiler.
I
Spoiler
was pissed.
Yeah.
I almost stopped watching the whole fucking thing. I was livid. Like every Sunday we would watch it. We would have nachos and whatever, and Sunday was for the dead because that's when the new episode came out.
Yeah.
After that, it was not so good, but the main show, which people are probably going to come for me and scream at me a lot, that I cannot finish, that I really couldn't get into and still can't, which is insane because it is so up my fucking alley. Supernatural. I can't get into it.
She married Harry E. Whitten at some point in her life. They don't know when, because again, they don't know anything really on this woman.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and she gave birth to 3 children.
Wait, hold on. What year was this?
She was born 1862.
Okay, so like the 1800s, I guess they didn't really
Yeah.
keep good records then.
Apparently not, because they literally have pretty much like nothing on her.
That's crazy.
She gave birth to 3 children: Fanny, Jenny, and Louis.
Okay.
Which I don't know why you would name your kid Fanny.
That was like a super popular name during that time. I don't know why.
It's another word for butt. Like,
Yeah.
why would you name your kid Butt?
Maybe in the 1800s it wasn't really related that way, but I mean now, like, for sure.
Yeah, like, no. And then, in 1900, Henry died suddenly under suspicious circumstances.
And that was the husband, right?
Yes, that was
Okay.
100. That was
The 100?
Harry, not Henry. Harry, sorry.
Same thing.
Yeah. Most likely as a result of poisoning.
Most likely.
Most likely.
Like they didn't
They
figure
weren't-
that out.
They weren't 100% sure at that time. They're like, oh, he just died mysteriously. So
It must be poisoning.
yeah,
Okay.
must be poisoning.
Okay.
And in the following 2 years, the friends and acquaintances noted that her behavior became odd, and apparently Hattie did have a morphine addiction.
Was morphine readily available in the 1860s?
I'm guessing because that's because how she acted. They were like, oh, she's on drugs. She's addicted to morphine.
I mean, but that would still mean that morphine was available, readily available for them to pick that one drug as a thing that she was addicted to.
I'm guessing.
Okay. I've only had morphine once, I think.
I've had it 0.
Well, when I broke my hand and I had surgery, I was on morphine.
And then sometime in September 1902, the Whittens moved to Dexter, and she ran a boarding house for a short period of time. And on September 19th, 11-year-old Fanny died suddenly, with the coroner ruling the cause of death as meningitis. But of course, it was suspicious because she appeared in good health with no obvious signs of ailment.
And that is weird because there are obvious signs of meningitis.
Yeah.
Very obvious. London had meningitis when she was like 5. Very, very obvious signs of meningitis.
Yeah, no, she did not.
Okay.
So they were like, And she had, of course, insured her daughter, receiving $85 from the insurance company.
Ooh. $85.
Well, I mean, nowadays it's probably like $1,000 or something.
Even still, what are you going to do with $1,000? Well, I mean, I guess maybe in the 1800s you could probably buy a house, but...
Probably, yeah. And then after a month after her death, Jenny and Louis began to notice that their mother's mental health rapidly deteriorating.
That's not good.
Nope. And of course, not long after that, 9-year-old Jenny died on November 27th from what they said was supposed to be heart failure.
How old was she?
9.
Heart failure.
Yes.
Also, no other medical problems prior to that.
Nope.
Okay.
None. And at that point, the authorities were suspicious as she was insured for $50 by her mother. And they requested that coroner George M. Barrows examine her corpse.
Was the husband insured? I don't remember if you said or not.
No. It didn't. Well, it did not say if he was or not.
But he might have been. Like,
he
I wouldn't.
might have been, but they didn't say.
Wouldn't see of any other reason at this point for her to kill him other than that.
Probably, yeah. They didn't say anything about that. He discovered traces of arsenic and strychnine. Strychnine.
No, you said it right the first time. Strychnine.
Okay. Which is a highly, if you don't know what it is, highly toxic, colorless, and odorless chemical compound classified as an alkaloid.
Put strychnine on the guacamole. Watch Office Space. You'll figure it out.
I'm surprised you didn't get guacamole with your chips and salsa.
I didn't even think about it. Dang it. Oh, I think they put tomatoes in their guacamole, and I don't like that.
And so when he found that, he issued an arrest warrant for murder.
The doctor?
Yeah, he told the authorities.
I was like, how did he issue a arrest warrant? He's a doctor, but he told the authorities.
He told the police. He said, "Hey, there's this stuff in her. Like, you need to arrest her."
Okay, that makes sense.
And then the day after, when she was coming home from the funeral, she was arrested.
So she was arrested after the funeral. Like,
yeah, when she got home, same day. So the day after, like when he examined the body, and then the day after when they were burying her, he was like, they arrested her.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
At least she didn't have time to kill anybody else.
Exactly, because she probably would have killed the last kid if she had time.
Yeah, and an insurance policy.
Mm-hmm. And while she was in custody, they exhumed and tested Franny's body. But the results were never publicly disclosed, but they were pretty sure that there was poison in there as well.
Okay, so they did exhume her.
They did exhume
check.
her.
Okay.
But the results were never publicly disclosed.
But see, here's the thing. Like, this is only a couple of years later, right?
Yeah, like, let's see. She died 1902, and then Jenny died. Well, no, it's only a month. It's like 2 months.
A month?
Like 2 months, yeah.
So why could they not test that girl at the beginning when they thought, this was kind of suspicious? Also, why didn't they test her? They obviously had the material and the know-how to do it. So why?
Yeah, because she died in September, and then Jenny died in November.
Why? What?
Yeah. She was arraigned before the court for Jenny's murder, pleading not guilty to the charge.
No.
Yeah, she said, I didn't do that. No, wasn't me.
Bitch. Be so fucking for real right now.
Yeah. And she was held until Tuesday in the custody of Deputy Leslie Curtis, but she stayed the night in the house with her son and who was sleeping next to her mother.
What?
Yeah, apparently, I guess they let her stay at the house with her son and her mother.
Why? Did they not have prison cells back then, or?
I'm guessing not, because on November 30th, the deputy took Hattie to his house where she was under house arrest.
That was my birthday. Not the same year. I'm not that old.
I'm about to say, you little
close,
but little vampire over there. And around noon, he briefly left the house so he could go feed his horse in the barn.
Mm-hmm.
When you're chewing the chips. And when he did that, she took 2 towels and tied them together in a noose and hung herself in the bedpost. She said, I have a chance of freedom. I'm going to take it.
Instead of running.
Yeah, instead of running, she's like, I'm just going to kill myself.
Okay.
Yep.
Smooth move, X-Lax.
Exactly. And then when he found her body, he called in medical help, trying to resuscitate her, but did not work.
Couldn't be me. I'd be like, oh no, there is a dead baby murderer in my home. I wonder what I should do. And then I would go outside and feed my horse again and drag it out a little bit. Definitely would not be trying to save her.
Nah. And she's buried at the family plot along with her 2 daughters at the Evergreen Cemetery in Milo.
No.
Yeah, I know. When I saw that, I said, why are you going to put her with the daughters that she killed? That's just wrong.
Yeah, I don't like that at all, where they bury murderers next to their victims. It drives me insane. It makes no sense to me. They're not going to rest.
No. And then once she died, they found out some pretty interesting things for a possible motive of why she did what she did.
Not the insurance money?
Nope.
Huh.
So when they moved to Dexter, she became courted by a weaver named Serto, who she planned to marry. However, he refused to engage with a woman who had children of her own.
Did he have kids?
Nope.
Oh.
But he was like, yeah, I'm not going to marry you if you have kids. So she was like, you know what? I'm going to kill him off then. So you'll marry me.
So did she think this man was just like a general piece of shit and was like going to be okay with her offing her kids because then she didn't have any and then he would date her? Like, why the fuck would you even want a man like that?
Exactly. And then it's really sad because circumstantial evidence, because a day prior to Fanny's death, she was seen buying laudanum, arsenic, and castor oil. And while she was doing that, Jenny was out selling wares so she could buy her mom a Christmas present.
When she was the 9-year-old, right?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
A sweet little baby just doing sweet little baby stuff. And then her mom was like, yeah, you know what? You're going to die tonight.
Yeah, so she got stuff to buy Fanny to kill Fanny with. And then while Jenny's out selling stuff to buy her mom a Christmas present, Hattie was seen buying the arsenic and the strychnine that she would kill Jenny with.
I don't like this story. Even though there's not a lot about it, I don't like it.
And Dr. Murphy, who attended both the children, he said the poisons were likely ingested in the form of oil so they could easily pass through the stomach into the intestines. And when it came to the death of Jenny, Hattie had apparently left a postal card calling for the doctor to treat her, despite him living only half a mile away from where they lived and having a telephone.
What?
So she sent the long way of trying to contact the doctor than just calling him with the telephone.
She sent him a postcard in the mail.
That will take longer.
To help an ailing child.
Yes.
Did they do that back then? Was that common practice?
No. But, I mean, if you probably live far away, probably. But, yeah, no, she only lived half a mile and had a phone.
She could have literally walked there.
She could have walked there or called him.
Yeah.
Or sent
They had phones in the 1900s?
I guess.
Oh, okay.
She
must have been rich then, because I think like only rich people had telephones when they were first invented.
Cell phone for killing her first kid. She got $85 for that.
Yeah, maybe.
And that is it on Hattie. Like I said, it's very short.
I don't like it.
There's nothing on her that really, besides the fact that she's a murderer.
Not a fan at all. Okay, so who were you barking at?
She dropped a chip on the floor.
Oh, are you Maddie? You dropped a chip on the floor? Whatever. Okay, so my story is about Ottis Toole. It's kind of a long one, so I apologize in advance. He was born Ottis Edwool. No, he wasn't.
His name was what?
Nope, that was not it. He was born Ottis Elwood Toole, born on March 5th, 1947, so he is a Pisces. And he was born in Jacksonville, Florida, because Florida. He was...
Your favorite place to be.
It is. I love Florida, but I'm not going to deny that it's fucking psycho. So he was born into poverty. He was the youngest of 5 children. His dad was an alcoholic who
abandoned... Your last person had 5 children.
They did, yeah. It's like a little theme, I guess. Not intentional, but yeah. Or she was one of 5 children. He was one of 5 children. His father abandoned him when he was young, but his dad was also an alcoholic. And so he suffered at the hands of his father for several years until he eventually left his life. His mother was also extremely abusive. And she did at one point admit that she couldn't handle Toole and all of his quote unquote issues. So he basically just fell to the side. Like, she didn't really do a whole lot to parent him or take care of him or make sure he was on the right path, because he wasn't. Okay, he was on the right path. He's on this episode, so obviously
not.
So different sources say different things. Some sources say his mother would dress him up in dresses and call him Susan. Because they're saying his mom also wanted him to be a girl. So his mother dressed him up as a girl and called him Susan because it claims that the mom wanted him to be a girl, while other sources say it was actually his sister that dressed him up and called him Susan because she wanted a girl to play with. So I think it was 4 boys and 1 girl.
Oh.
So I think because he was, there were boys because later on we talk about his brothers. So I think that she was the only girl and he was the youngest boy. So I think she just wanted a sister, basically. He claims to have been sexually abused by many close relatives and acquaintances, including his older sister and the next door neighbor. In the documentary Death Diploma, he stated that he was forced to have sex with a friend of his father's when he was only 5 years old.
He's 5.
Yeah.
He's 5.
Sexual predators don't fucking care. There are people who have done it to literal infants. Week-old infants.
Wouldn't that kill them?
Sometimes it does, yeah. He also claims to have been beaten brutally by all of his brothers. He claims it began when he revealed that he was homosexual to his family. He claims that he felt he knew that he was gay at least the age of 10, and did have a consensual sexual relationship with a neighbor boy at the age of 12. I say consensual simply because he wasn't raped. Previously.
Yeah.
So, he said he was raped by a neighbor, but then he had a consensual relationship with a different neighbor. As consensual as it can be at the age of 12. So, maybe back in that time, 12 was consent. I don't know. I know it's much older now, thankfully. He did state that his maternal grandmother was a Satanist and exposed him to various satanic practices and rituals in his youth, including grave robbing.
How does that make sense when his mom's the way she is?
Maybe that's the reason his mom is the way she is. So, as a young boy, Toole would often be found wandering graveyards and digging up bones. His mom was the exact opposite and was said to have extremely religious views. So he was conflicted and confused about everything in life: religion, consent, being a boy or a girl, the way a family unit is supposed to work. He had no guidance whatsoever.
He was
at all.
Pretty much fucked from day one.
From day one. Toole was always classified as having a mild intellectual disability with an IQ of 75. The standard IQ in the United States is 100, so he was low functioning, more or less.
Yeah.
He also had epilepsy, which resulted in frequent grand mal seizures. So, add to insult to injury, he's got an intellectual disability. He has been abused. He's been molested. He has seizures. He's just not doing good. Not doing good already.
Not at all.
During his childhood, he frequently ran away from home and was a serial arsonist from a very young age. Said he was sexually aroused by the fires.
Okay, so don't give him matches.
Or a lighter.
Or a lighter. Got it.
Yeah. He dropped out of school in 9th grade, and at that time he began visiting gay bars.
It's always 9th grade people drop out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe that's just because that's when high school starts and people are just like, no, not doing it. But he claims to have been a sex worker as a teenager and became completely obsessed with gay pornography. And this is where the women clothing comes back into play. He would often wear women's clothing while turning tricks. The men that he was with knew he was a boy. It wasn't like he was tricking them. He just wore the women's clothes as part of it, I guess.
Some guys might like that.
Yeah, they might. Not knocking anybody, but it wasn't that he was lying or anything. They knew he was male. He was just in women's clothes. He stated he committed his first murder at the age of 14. He was propositioned for sex by a traveling salesman. Toole stated that the man was very, very, very aggressive towards Toole, especially after he said no. And when he tried to rape Toole, Toole got away and got into the salesman's car and ran him over and killed him.
Yes, because a 14-year-old whose mother doesn't really do anything with him taught him how to drive.
You don't really have to know how to drive. You just put the car in reverse and backed up.
Yeah, that's true, too.
But there is no evidence of any of this. There was no dead man laying in the street. There was no missing persons, no disappearance warnings. This was never confirmed.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So, again, with a grain of salt. He was arrested for the first time, though, in August of 1965 at the age of 17 for loitering.
So pretty much just chilling.
Just standing somewhere where he wasn't, where they have like a no loitering sign. Like
it's
somewhere
what
he
got arrested for.
Yeah. Not sex work, not arson. He got arrested for loitering, for just standing somewhere he wasn't supposed to. Yeah. The most useless fucking law ever.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. So his activities between 1966 and 1973, like after his arrest, he spent a little bit of time in jail. They're unclear. But authorities believe that he began drifting around the Southwest United States and supported himself with sex work and panhandling, which is another word for begging. While living in Nebraska, he was one of the prime suspects in a 1974 murder of 24-year-old Patricia Webb. Webb had disappeared from her workplace, and her body was discovered 2 days later. Authorities linked Toole to the crime due to his presence in the area and his criminal history that they did know about. Though he was never formally charged or convicted of this murder, her murder remains officially unsolved.
Well,
yeah.
That's great.
So, Toole left Nebraska and settled in Boulder, Colorado. 1 month later, he became the prime suspect of another murder. It was the murder of 31-year-old Ellen Holman. Holman was abducted from Pueblo, Colorado on October 10th, 1974, and later found shot 3 times in the head near the Oklahoma border. Toole was considered a suspect, but again was neverly. But again, Toole was never formally charged or convicted of this murder, and Ellen Holman's murder remains officially unsolved.
So
that's 2 murders that are unsolved currently, but they think he's the one that committed it. They just couldn't connect it.
Well, they should have connected it.
So on January 14th of 1976, he married a woman who shortly after the marriage left him.
She said, nope, goodbye.
Some sources say they were only together or married for a couple of days. Some say a couple of weeks. Regardless, she left him. The identity of the woman is unknown, but it is known that the marriage ended after Toole confessed his homosexuality to her.
Why did he confess that before they got married?
I don't know, because then she wouldn't have married him. Yeah.
It clearly wouldn't have worked anyway.
It wouldn't have. But, you know, he was like, hey, I like guys. And she's like, hey, me too. I mean, you know, it's whatever.
I'm okay.
Toole stated the marriage was a tactic to disguise his sexuality from the public, you know, because just in that time, it was a lot of backlash if you were gay. I mean, even still in 2025, you think humanity would have progressed enough and people wouldn't be stupid.
Yeah, no.
But people are still fucking stupid. So not much has changed as far as that or the opinions and feelings towards people in the community, which all those people can go fuck themselves. The people in the community are great. The LGBTQIA plus community, by the way, not any other community. Thank you. So, in 1976, shortly after his wife left him, Toole met Henry Lee Lucas, who is a complete piece of fucking shit. Okay. And, well, they met in Jacksonville in a soup kitchen and developed a friendship. And later they decided to progress to a sexual relationship.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
And then following his mother's death in 1981, Toole reportedly claimed 9 more victims in 6 dates between 1982 and 1983, January to February, so like a year and a month. Toole could sometimes be found sleeping on top of his mother's grave during this period of time.
That's not weird at all.
Yeah, no, that's totally normal. On January 4th of 1982, Toole barricaded 65-year-old George Sonnenberg in a boarding house where he was living in Jacksonville and set the house on fire.
If he's in a boarding house, wouldn't there be multiple people, though?
I mean, usually, yeah, but maybe not like during that time. They may have all been out doing something.
He wanted to make sure he's by himself.
Yeah. Sonnenberg did die a week later due to the injuries sustained while he was burning alive in that house. In 1982, Henry Lee Lucas murdered Toole's niece, Frida Becky Powell, in an act of revenge. He had a romantic relationship with Becky, but it was deeply troubling because she was very, very young, way too young for him, and she also had intellectual disabilities.
His niece.
Toole's niece, yeah.
The hell?
Yeah. But Lucas, murdered her to get back at Toole. They were fighting about something stupid, I'm sure.
That's dumb.
Yeah. In April of 1983, Toole was arrested on an unrelated arson incident in Jacksonville, and then he confessed to the 1982 fire that killed George Sonnenberg. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Toole signed a confession stating that he and Sonnenberg did have a sexual relationship, and after an argument, Toole was pissed and set the house on fire and ran away.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. This guy's okay.
Yeah. June of 1983, so 2 months later, Henry Lee Lucas was arrested for unlawful possession of a firearm because he was a felon. Lucas started boasting about the murderous rampage orchestrated by he and Toole. He claimed they survived in camping tents and robbed and killed for food and money, and that they traveled in junk cars that they'd abandoned on the highway when it broke down and then hitched train rides to Jacksonville, Florida. That's how they traveled.
Just regular little outlaws.
Yeah. At first, Toole denied any involvement, but later began backing up Lucas's confessions. Toole later claimed to have accompanied Lucas in 108 murders, sometimes committed at the behest of a cult called, quote-unquote, the Hands of Death. However, the police discounted this claim of the cult's existence because there was no fucking evidence of its existence. Toole just made that shit up.
So he likes to lie a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And despite knowing that Lucas murdered his niece, Lucas and Toole continued to back each other up on the crimes.
How are you going to still back up the person who killed your niece? Like, killed your family?
Yeah. He has an intellectual disability, so I think he had a hard time connecting things, like, to make sense.
It seems like it. He had no common sense.
He had no sense at all.
That too.
During Toole's trial for murdering George Sonnenberg, Toole claimed that he did not set the house on fire and only signed the confessions to see he could be extradited back to Jacksonville.
Of course he did.
Yeah. On October 21st of 1983, while in prison for 2 other murders, Toole confessed to the 1981 kidnapping and murder of 6-year-old Adam Walsh.
Oh, he was 6.
We will get more in depth on that story here in a little bit. But we're going to finish through the other information first. On April 28th of 1984, a jury found Toole guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced him to death. Later that year, he was found guilty of the February 1983 strangulation murder of a 19-year-old Tallahassee, Florida woman and received a second death sentence. On appeal, both sentences were later commuted to life in prison. So normally, like I said in previous episodes, when it's a death sentence, they get an automatic appeal. And what normally happens is if they find evidence or lack thereof to justify a death sentence, they'll commute it to life in prison. So it doesn't say why or what was found, but that's typically the reason of the change of sentencing. That or the state does not participate in the death penalty anymore. But I think Florida still does.
They should have given the death penalty.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's usually one of those 2 reasons. In 1984, Toole confessed to 2 unsolved murders in Northwest Florida. One was of 18-year-old David Shallart. He was a hitchhiker who he picked up east of Pensacola. Shallart's body was found on February 6th of 1990, approximately 125 feet off of the I-10 eastbound lane. He had 5 gunshot wounds to the left side of his head. And then he also confessed...
Overkill much?
Yeah. He also confessed to the 20-year-old Ada Johnson murder. He admitted to kidnapping her from Tallahassee and shooting her in the head on a road outside of Fort Walton Beach.
He really likes shooting people in the head.
Yeah. Yeah. Psychiatrist Dr. Urbina and Dr. Sanchez testified at Toole's 1984 Florida Supreme Court appeal that he had an extremely impulsive personality and exhibited antisocial behavior as a result of a personality disorder, and that he was a pyromaniac, which we already knew.
I can believe all of that.
Yeah. He was a self-proclaimed cannibal, called himself the Cannibal Kid. And the only evidence of this was a recorded phone call between the two people in question, Toole and Lucas. A phone call while they were both in prison. He said, "It tastes like real meat when it got barbecue sauce on it." And then Lucas just laughed. But there's no evidence of either of them being cannibals. It was just...
He could have been talking about chicken.
No, they were talking about people.
Oh.
They were for sure talking about people.
Oh.
Because I listened to the audio.
Okay.
For sure about people.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah. And it was said that Toole made Charles Manson look like Tom Sawyer.
The what?
Yeah. Saying he is way worse than Charles Manson. Now, Charles Manson never killed anybody physically.
Yeah,
he had other people do it.
He had people do his dirty work.
Yeah. Police flew Lucas across the country and took Toole on local field trips to the scenes of the crimes. Toole liked KFC and often got meals from there while on these trips. And because of this and him loving being the center of attention, he confessed to even more crimes.
He could have been confessing the stuff he didn't even do.
Exactly. So here is a list of the supposed victims. The first one is Geraldine Peoples. She was 18. She was killed at her home. At the time, it was believed that someone had jumped off the train to commit the murder. Geraldine had just come home from shopping and found two men inside of her home who happened to be the killers. Toole said he and Lucas were waiting inside and that his teenage niece Becky and his nephew Frank were waiting outside. According to the police, Becky left behind a pair of gloves and Frank remembered seeing a set of drums off in another room. You all may be asking, well, why did he bring children to a murder? Yeah, I was wondering that as well. Well, he said he had taken on the responsibility to be their guardian. And it was a good thing that he did that because he used the kids as a cover to seem less suspicious while plotting to murder people.
But if he didn't have a very good IQ and stuff, how'd they even let him have custody of these children?
Florida. Another one was Brenda Burton of 23. She was found stabbed to death in her bathroom. Ruby McCrary, age unknown at the time, was shot through her screen door. John McDaniel, who was a sheriff, got a call from an officer about a robbery in progress at a gas station outside of Campbellton on December 15th of 1980. When McDaniel arrived on the scene, the officer approached him and told him that they had one down. McDaniel made his way over to the door and saw a man laying there, blood everywhere. The man had a goatee, and he recognized the man immediately. It was his father.
Oh, no.
He had been beaten with a tire iron and shot, and he died later that day due to his injuries.
That's so sad.
Yeah. Another was Deborah Quinn. She was 18. She was sexually battered and stabbed to death in her apartment, but her body was not found for a year. It was later found in a dump site and was skeletonized at that point. This is one of the few confirmed that Toole did not commit. They found evidence otherwise. So he was not the murderer of this one, though he claimed.
Yeah, he's claiming stuff he didn't even do.
He claimed this one.
He wants the attention. They're feeding him freaking KFC.
In Oklahoma, there was a woman who was stabbed 42 times. In Louisiana, a woman was raped and strangled. In Illinois, there was a little girl who was abducted at gunpoint. And initially, police did not believe that there was a serial killer on the loose and did not connect any of these murders to each other. Those thoughts came much, much later. In all, Toole and Lucas claimed to have murdered 210 people in 26 states.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. A whole lot. Especially in that little bit of a time frame.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way they killed that many.
No. In 1984, a task force was formed, and police were now tasked with matching the confessions with the evidence from the unsolved murder. So they were taking everything that Toole and Lucas had said about these murders and kind of comparing it to the evidence that they did have that they knew was true.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the 1980s, DNA matching was virtually non-existent. And even though they had confessions and quote unquote evidence from Lucas and Toole, most of the unsolved murders couldn't confirm that they were done by Toole and Lucas, even though they claimed them. Like, there was no evidence showing that.
So they didn't really look into those murders then and just figured, oh, these two did it.
Well, no, that's what they were doing. That's what the task force was formed for. So they were looking into the murders, and they were comparing the evidence that they had versus what Toole and Lucas had told them. So they're thinking that Toole and Lucas just saw a lot of these murders on the news and just took bits and pieces, but didn't have like any real information that the public didn't already know. So they were just claiming everybody that had died within this certain time frame. They were claiming a lot of them, but most of it unfounded. Okay. And that's not to say they didn't do it. It's just to say the police could not connect it.
Yeah.
So some cases did not match up due to the key evidence. But through evidence of the surrounding area, it could potentially prove their guilt. Just saying that they were in that area during that time due to cash checks that they found, other crimes committed in the area that did tie to them. So it was kind of, they were just like, okay, well, they were in the area, so it's potentially true that they did these murders. Over time, Toole and Lucas's confessions became less and less reliable and proven to be lies. Numerous cases that had been thought to have been solved had to be reopened because they found out that it wasn't them.
Well,
yeah. So that was really rough on the families of those victims because they thought it was, solved and they had justice, but now they're like, this wasn't the guy. Sorry. That sucks.
Deeper.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about the Adam Walsh murder because it's super important and super sad. Adam Walsh and his mother, Reve Walsh, had been at a Sears. She left Adam at the video game display while she went several aisles down to check out a lamp that was on sale.
See, why would you leave your child?
Because in the 80s it was safe, or you thought it was safe.
But still, why would you leave your child by himself?
I wouldn't, not at 6.
No.
But things like this really weren't happening. Now, like, we know better because it happens all the time. We know about it. I think just in that time, it just was not something that happened.
I still would not want to leave I would still not leave my 6-year-old child by himself.
No, I wouldn't have either. But, it is what it is. Upon realizing that Adam was missing, she went to the customer service desk and no one would help her. It even took the police more than 20 minutes to respond to the mall, even though the police station was literally within walking distance across the street from the mall.
How?
I don't know.
How?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they were on other calls and they didn't have anybody available. Maybe.
And being how big they are, they could have been a small one too.
Yeah, but it took them 20 minutes to respond, even though they were right across the street. So that was an extra 20 minutes where this little boy was not being looked for.
Yeah.
I think bad idea.
Very bad.
I think, I'm not saying that the outcome would have been different, but it might have been.
Yeah.
Might have been.
They just started looking sooner.
Yeah. His disappearance happened in broad daylight with many people around and a lot of security guards in the mall.
So how did no one see anything?
I guess it just wasn't suspicious. Like, in that time, you had little kids just running around everywhere. It was safe. They could do that. And so I don't think anybody thought that it was suspicious that this little boy was just wandering around the mall by himself. The Walsh family remained at the mall until dark, hoping Adam would turn up, and he did not, just thinking maybe he got out and ran, went to play somewhere, and would eventually find his way back to the mall. But
yes,
again,
does that make sense for a 6-year-old?
I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but it's not likely. They went back at daylight the next day with still no sign of Adam. At that point, they began to become hopeless. They even offered a $5,000 reward for any information leading to the disappearance of Adam. 2 weeks later, oh God, okay, so trigger warning, like big time right now. 2 weeks later, Adam's head, and only his head, was found in a canal about 125 miles north of the mall. Adam's body has never been recovered.
Like, to this day?
To this day, Adam's body has never been found. Yeah.
What?
Yep. Yeah. So Toole's vehicle that he was driving during that time was a 1971 Cadillac, and many said that they did see that vehicle leaving the mall around that time. But again, nothing was suspicious about it, so they didn't do anything or say anything.
Yeah.
So Toole's confession basically went, he claimed that he had picked Walsh up in a Sears parking lot and that Walsh had come willingly after being offered candy and toys because he's a literal baby.
Yeah.
Walsh soon wanted to go home and began crying, and that's when Toole punched Adam in the face.
What?
Causing the boy to cry even more, which pissed Toole off, and he began to quote-unquote wallop Walsh, knocking him unconscious. Toole eventually pulled over in a rural area and decapitated Walsh with a machete. He then drove around with the severed head for several days because he forgot about it.
How do you forget about stinking head in your car?
I don't fucking know. But then when he rediscovered it, he was like, I gotta get rid of this and just toss it into a nearby canal. No mention of ever of what happens to his body. Like, Toole never mentions what he did with the body, and they never find it. Ever. This has been 30 years.
My eyes twitching.
Initially believed by the police that Toole had seen the movie and the media coverage of Adam Walsh and admitted to it after the fact to keep the attention on him.
If he did that, that's fucked up.
He confessed and recanted his confession numerous times, and there was no physical evidence whatsoever connecting him to the disappearance and murder of Adam Walsh. It was only circumstantial evidence, Toole's confession, and then people saying they saw this vehicle leaving.
If he punched him, wouldn't that have left something on his head? Like, well, I would think if he walloped on him, like some of his like nose would have been broken or something.
I think in the autopsy, I have the autopsy saved.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what he had, contusions and stuff to his face. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe Toole did do it. Okay.
So it's kind of, I'm leaning towards he did it. So Toole wrote letters to the media and to Disney World.
Why would you write to Disney World?
It does not say, but he was boasting about the crime.
That's the happiest place on earth. Why are you gonna do Disney World like that?
Because there were children there, maybe? I don't know.
That's fucked up.
In the letter, he said, I am the man who kidnapped, raped, and murdered and cut up Adam Walsh. I really love to rape and kill, and I'm awfully good at it. Maybe the best in the business. Yeah. I don't know.
My eyes twitching. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. Toole even wrote John Walsh, who was Adam's dad, who is the host of America's Most Wanted.
Good for him.
Yeah. A letter explaining what he'd done to Adam and wanted the $5,000 reward that the family had put up for Adam's return.
That's fucked up.
John said he got physically ill from reading the letter. Like, the letter was horrible.
That's messed up.
You guys are more than welcome to look that up if you want to. That is not something that I'm going to be posting, but it's out there. It's disgusting. The police had the file sealed until a lawsuit by local newspapers forced the police to unseal it. Copied onto microfilm were 10,000 pages detailing the hunt for Adam's killer. Once the newspaper got the files, they identified numerous errors. The case was reopened and a cold case squad took over and started looking at the files to see what they could see, put new eyes on it. Maybe they could figure something out. In a manila envelope, detectives found a pair of children's shorts and flip-flop sandals that had been buried in the backyard of where Toole and his mother lived.
Why they always could do it at their house?
They weren't Adam's shorts or shoes.
But still, why are you going to put that crap at your house in your backyard? Why is it always in their backyard?
I don't know. Anyway, the shoes and the shorts were not Adam's. It does not ever specify who they belonged to, but they did know that it was not his. Why it was buried in the backyard, no one ever knows.
Because he wanted to bury something?
I don't know.
But
there was blood-soaked carpet taken out of Toole's car, but it was lost, quote-unquote lost, as well as the machete he claimed to have beheaded Adam with. So any physical evidence that they potentially could have had to connect him to this murder.
How are you going to lose it? Like, what?
So basically what they're thinking happened was that there was a quote-unquote miscommunication between the police and the crime lab that ultimately led to the misplacement of evidence. And usually, like, when they clear evidence or don't need it or whatever, it's usually destroyed. So they no longer had access to any of the stuff that they initially had. But in 1994, Code Adam was created in memory of Adam Walsh. It is a program of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which is a nonprofit co-founded by both of Adam's parents, Reve and John. This child safety program has been implemented in various locations such as department stores and libraries and is designed to quickly alert staff to a missing child and initiate a search procedure before law enforcement arrives. So if for some reason the police cannot get to that location on time or in a timely manner, this program implements a protocol for the employees to follow when a missing child is available, or when a child is missing in their department store. It is one of the nation's largest child safety protocols and is implemented in thousands of establishments. I know for a fact Walmart has it. Maybe Sears, but I don't know how many Sears are open still. I think the one here closed down. Yeah, I think they're all closed.
Yeah,
but
all closed.
I know for a fact Walmart, Walmart specifically, because it was originally developed by Walmart Associates. So, in 2006, President Bush signed into law the Adam Walsh Child Protection and Safety Act of 2006, which institutes a national database of convicted child molesters and increases penalties for offenses against children, which is good. We needed something like that for sure. What are you doing?
I was reading
I told you it's fucking sick. It's fucking sick. Yeah, that's why I said I'm not posting it. You're more than welcome to go and read that on your own, but I'm not doing it. It is sick.
He looks like a psycho.
He's like, oh yeah, I know what Ottis Toole looks like. He's sick. December 16th of 2008, which was 27 years after the murder of Adam Walsh, Hollywood, Florida police announced Toole as the murderer, and the Adam Walsh case was officially closed. They still had no physical evidence at all. Toole had long been dead by this point. But his dad, John, always believed that Toole was the murderer because he knew too much about the case for him to not be the murderer.
Exactly. And then that letter I just freaking read.
It's sick. It's fucking sick.
What the hell?
Yeah. So September 15th, 1996, at the age of 49, Toole died of cirrhosis of the liver and his body went unclaimed.
September what?
15th. 6 days after your birthday. No.
Yes. I was 1996.
No. 11 days. No, 9. 10. 9? 11. 7?
I was born on the 6th.
9. I said 6. I inverted. 9 days after your birthday. Same year. You were 9 days old when he died.
I was 9 days old.
You were 9 days old when he died.
Good thing I was born before he died.
Yeah.
He can't be reincarnated.
No. He was buried in the Florida State Prison Cemetery because nobody would claim him.
I wouldn't claim him.
Mm-mm.
Fuck that bitch.
For sure. The cold case team stated they were never told that Toole was like sick and in that situation of dying, because they would have questioned him more and kind of played the card of, well, you're dying, is there anything you want to confess? They were never told. They were never given the opportunity. They did get to speak with him throughout his years in prison.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, they admit to things on their deathbed, and they were not given the opportunity to talk to him to see if he had anything to say.
He probably didn't, because if he's making lies and saying he did
he probably had plenty to say, but whether or not it would have been the truth. I mean, and at that point, knowing he was dying, he may have been like, yeah, it's time for me to tell the truth. But they were never given the opportunity. So, I mean, it is what it is. But before death, Toole did remain silent. He didn't say anything to anybody, even though he really wasn't asked the questions, but he didn't come forward with any information
like
either.
Pennell, who was silent till he died.
Bitch boy Pennell. But anyway, Toole remained silent up to his death, leaving many families without answers. So I know that one was rough, guys. So we're not going to drag this out any further. Give you some time to think about everything or think about nothing.
Don't read the letter.
Don't
do it.
If you decide to read that letter, just know we warned you. It is fucking sick and horrific. And I promise you don't want to read it. But if you have a morbid curiosity like I did and like Courtney did, just prepare yourself, okay? And don't come at us. We're warning you. This is like the 5th warning. We're warning you, okay?
Yes.
So you guys can check us out on Facebook. It's going to be facebook.com/haunted and homicidal. Our Patreon, patreon.com/haunted and homicidal. And of course, if you guys have any story suggestions, either paranormal or murder, or if you have your own stories, your personal stories, or know somebody with a personal story, feel free to give us an email. It's going to be hauntedandhomicidal@gmail.com. We are looking forward to reading some of your guys' stuff, getting you guys, especially those who subscribe on the Patreon, to have your names mentioned or your stories read. It's looking at a good time. But that is going to be all for today. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.
Bye.